This week, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are getting an expansion. 3 Assassin's Creed games are rumored, and Final Fantasy XVI gets a ton of new details because this is the NerdCave News. I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with, in the misty forest of Elzenbar, lives an elven tribe. Their leader is known to be great and powerful, the wise, old elven sage who is known to have secret knowledges of ages past, the great Saurus Orthra, the secret keeper.
Ooh, so perfect. And a nice play on Lord of the Rings, considering with the conversation we just had earlier during the shenanigans. So
Where does it rank?
oh gosh.
Saurus Orthra.
Oh, it definitely belongs at near the top.
So what's number one right now?
Let's just give a rundown. So I'm gonna read from the bottom up. Number 5, we got Delphina, Warrior Princess. Number 4, we got Harmony, Proudfoot of
Harmate.
Harmate, excuse me.
My God,
Number 3, we
it.
got Monsieur Jean-Jacques Ducateau. Number 2, we've got Ligurian, God of the Seas. And number 1, we got Jingo Huth. Zach, I think this is the new number 1.
I think so as well. Like, I read that. I did a Naruto voice actor of the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't read this beforehand. Like, that was my one take on that.
Yeah.
What joke are you talking about?
That dog sense the storm before it happens. Are you talking about the name, or are you talking about the dog sensing the storm before it happens?
No, she's talking about the name.
Oh.
Wise old Elven said she's known to have secret knowledge of ages past. The great Saurus Ulthra. I'm so confused. Secrets are no fun.
No, I think it's what happened this weekend. Think about it. Secrets.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. You don't want to tell secrets. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
The secret
Amy.
keeper. There you go. I like that. Good job, love.
Well done.
Oh, well, sorry.
That's why it belongs to number 1.
Saurus Ulthra, the secret keeper himself. This episode is brought to you by the Epic Games Store and our wonderful patrons, but more about that later. Guys, PixCon is gone. It's in the mist.
Yeah.
But we got something awesome planned for you around the corner, so don't be too shy. Keep coming by. You're going to be excited for what you get. But, guys, we're going to get into the gaming discussion. This week, first up, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet expansions have been announced.
Strap in, because we got some details, because, we had Pokemon Day on Monday, but it was like 8 a.m. in the morning, and, you had to be at work, and I'm just like, I'm getting as much sleep. I've been trucking too much this weekend, so whatever happens, happens. So get ready to experience even bigger adventures in the world of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. 2 major story-based expansions, the Teal Mask coming this fall, and the Indigo Disc coming winter 2023, are coming as a direct result of Sword and Shield's successful DLC. These 2 extensions will take players on an epic journey through Area Zero, with plenty of hidden treasures waiting to be discovered along the way. Quote, in the Teal Mask, players will be chosen to take part in a school trip that is held each year in collaboration with another school. They'll be taken to the land of Kitakami, where a great mountain towers over the land and the people live at its base. It is a place of tranquil natural expanses featuring rice paddies and apple orchards. The trip seems to coincide with a festival regularly held in the village of Kitakami during the season, so the village is bustling with various street vendors and stalls. Players will meet new friends and Pokemon as they unravel the mysteries behind the folktales that have been passed down in this land. The new legendary Pokemon Ogerpon will be available in the Teal Mask alongside 3 new spooky pocket monsters, Okidogi, Munkidori, and Fezan. Oh my gosh, Fezan Depiti. I wasn't prepared to read all. That's not how I read it, but anyway, they are beloved by the people of the village as heroes that protected the land of Kitakami in the past, and stone statues were made in their likeness to express the people's gratitude. Less details were shared on the Indigo Disc, but there will likely come following the launch of the Teal Mask. We did learn of its new legendary, though, in the form of the sparkly Terrapagus. Though this appears to be brand new, it was featured briefly in the Scarlet and Violet base game through the Culture books. The Pokemon Company dropped the bombshell that 230 new and exciting Pokemon would become obtainable in Scarlet and Violet, or through other means. Ninetales, Metagross, Dugong, Shiftry, and Milotic are among these incredible creatures ready for you to collect. These means include Pokemon Home will include through Pokemon Home, which the Pokemon Company announced would become available in early 2023, and through special Pokemon Go connectivity as of today. Players are able to send postcards in Go to Scarlet and Violet in order to catch Special Pavilion. Doing so will also let players catch Gimmighoul in Pokemon Go, and collecting 999 Gimmighoul coins, replacing candy, will allow an evolution into Goldengo. Get your hands on the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC to unlock new outfits right away, as well as a special Hisuian Zoroark. Moreover, the Walking Wake and Iron Leaves Terror Raid battles are accessible today in Scarlet and Violet colors, respectively. These Paradox Pokemon closely resemble Suicune and Virizion. Don't miss an opportunity to add them to your collection. So a ton of info dropped for here. I had heard rumors that they were going to do 3 to 4 DLCs possibly, but 2 I think is better because you could add more. And like it said earlier, the Sword and Shield DLC success is what triggered this to do them again. And Nintendo has been slowly adopting, like their first couple DLC iterations were hit or miss, but it seems like they're fully adopting this trend, especially since it brings them more money and brings in more sales of the game, because it's like, all right, we're going to keep giving you a reason to buy it just beyond the $60 initial purchase.
Well, like Sun and Moon had DLC and it did pretty well, but yeah, Sword and Shield definitely was like way bigger gangbusters. My God, 230 new Pokemon though. That is huge to like just like it's like I remember when there were only 199.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? The good old days when we could actually pronounce them. But I do like Monkey Dory.
Yeah.
It's like Hunky Dory, but it's a monkey, I'm assuming. Or it's a monk.
Yeah.
What does it look like? I'm looking it up. What is a Monkey Dory? It's a monkey that looks like a monk. We don't know what its abilities. I don't know either, but that's what it looks like. No one saw that because I didn't put it up for anyone else. But yeah, that lot of the occulture book sounds like a cult.
A culture book. So we're gonna leave that be for a little bit. But just know that we know.
I see you, Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
I see you, B.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They're going to have a closer release schedule for the DLC than they did the Sword and Shield. Because I remember when they announced the Sword and Shield DLC, one was like soonish when they announced it, like springish, and then the other one was coming in fall, winter. So this one, it seems like the second one, the Crown Tundra, I believe, was the second one for Sword and Shield. It had a lot of stuff. Like, not to saying that the first one didn't, the Isle of Armor, but the Crown Tundra was definitely the one people were waiting for because it had a lot more like big expansion to it. So this one coming out like closer together has me hopeful that both of them will give you enough stuff to do to keep you long entertained.
Yeah. So Sword and Shield came out in November 15th of 2019, and I think the first one was June 17th of 2020.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So. And then fall of 2020 was the last one.
Yeah.
With some free ones in between there. But yeah, like, if as long as it runs well.
Right. As long as it runs better than the game.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll fix some of those things. But hey, Derek, are we going to get 999 Gimmighouls and get some coins and get the...
I have not even played one iota of Pokemon Go, so I'm not going to start now.
You don't want a gold dingo?
No.
Baby ate my dingo ate my baby. No, baby ate my dingo. These are the bad jokes that you get here, guys. Hope you're enjoying them. Oi, governor! I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
I felt good. Rumor has it that Assassin's Creed series has 3 more games pitched by Ubisoft Studios, including codename Nebula.
First off, I just got to say, good Lord, can like they are going hot and heavy since Skull and Bones gets delayed like every hour, it seems like, by another like 6 months. Like they got to give out something because they're not doing a Division 3. Haven't heard mum on the Avatar, Tales of Pandora, whatever it is, game that they're working on. We don't know what kind of Star Wars game they're working on, so it's like pump out Assassin's Creed until they get tired of it again. So, as the article reads, let's not forget that Ubisoft is crafting several Assassin's Creed titles, including Assassin's Creed Mirage, Red, Hexy, and Jade. To top it all off, multiplayer fans have something to look forward to with their upcoming project Invictus. According to the report, 3 additional games are in various stages of conceptualization and prototyping. Codename Nebula, Raid, and Echoes will all be created by distinct studios with varying playstyles that differ from prior releases. Quote, they are going all in with AC and some other major franchises, a source told the site. Assassin's Creed codename Nebula has been pitched by Ubisoft Sofia, the studio behind Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation and Assassin's Creed Rogue. This will reportedly have 3 different settings: India, Aztec Empire, and the Mediterranean, while Assassin's Creed Project Raid is allegedly a free-to-play co-op game featuring PvE. Finally, Assassin's Creed Project Echoes is reportedly a multiplayer game utilizing Ubisoft Scalar technology and has been pitched by Ubisoft Annecy. Meanwhile, it was also reported that Assassin's Creed is likely to go back to its annual release schedule, starting with Assassin's Creed Mirage in August. That's the first time I've actually even read a possible release date. Followed by Assassin's Creed Nexus later in the year. Following this will be Assassin's Creed Codename Red in 2024 and Assassin's Creed Invictus in 2025. Oh, this worries me. Like, granted, yes, I'm glad they are getting back to putting some love, supposedly, because what we saw with Mirage was very promising. So it looks like they're trying to go back in the right direction with Assassin's Creed. But it also looks like they're making wrong decisions again, doing Ubisoft things by being like, all right, let's oversaturate that market. Now, granted, we're not going to do what we do and just give you an open world game every year. We're going to do different types of genres this time and make you think that it's, not the same game. And it's like, but it's still Assassin's Creed. You're still going to overwhelm us with a bunch of checkbox stuff to do. And you're going to wear out your fan base again quick.
Yeah, I think it's going to wear us out quicker on it. Just because, like, I remember that huge Ubisoft forward. It was like Assassin's Creed this, and then Netflix has got a thing, and then this, and then that, and it's like Jade and Rouge and Shamalama Ding Dong, all these like things. It was like, man, that's a lot. And now, but this is like conceptualized, and we did a story a few weeks ago. It might have been a month now, where it's like, if a game started today, it would take about 6 years to be like a AAA game. So like this could be, just the next batch after the ones we're getting in the near future. Right. But to talk about Ubisoft Sofia, I really liked Liberation.
Yeah, I never got to play it because I never got a chance to get my Vita before I played it. And then I bought it digitally when it came to like PlayStation 3. Or whatnot. I just never got around to playing it, but I heard it had some interesting mechanics, but it was overall a solid story.
Yeah, it was a solid story. The mechanics, I think, now could have been done a little bit better, because like you would have to, like, if you were like dressed up, you couldn't assassinate people. You were just like walking around, and then
you had like 3 different outfits, and each one let you do different things, but you couldn't do the others.
Yeah, so it was an interesting concept back then. I think it worked better than it would now. Now it'd be very limiting, and people be like, why am I like beholden to this or whatever? But so it's just one of those things. It's like, we gotta like, think about and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Apparently my mic is picking up my breathing a lot. I don't know why. We'll figure that out. But yeah, only time will tell. But there's a lot of Assassin's Creed coming up. Do you think once they see that they're not making as much money because people are tired, that they kind of pump the brakes on this?
I mean, It depends if they believe that each one is distinct enough to try and like get a new fan base or like try and reinvigorate the fan base. But I think that they will act if some of them are too similar to ones that had previously released. I'm like, all right, we gotta put you on hold because this one did not do well. But like if the rumors are true that each one is going to be like distinctive and different coming out, then I feel like they'll at least try to put one of each type of genre that they're making it in out before they just say yay or nay.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Oh, Derek. Derek, there's a lot of Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them out there.
they're getting up there with the number of Pokemon that are out.
True. Very true. But guys, you could go buy an Assassin's Creed game. You could do all of these things, but you know where you should go buy them?
Where is that, sir?
It's the Epic Game Store.
Mhm.
You can support us by going over and using our creator code NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Game Store. Even on free games, it helps us out. Get Hogwarts Legacy, V-Bucks, get you some Last of Us coming out this month.
Yeah, the end of the month. Yeah. It would have been tomorrow, but then they're like, no, we got to delay. I'm like, okay, take your time.
And we got Spider-Man's already over there. God of War's already over there. Horizon's over there. Returnal, Death Stranding. All of these cool Sony games over there.
One day, Ghost of Tsushima.
Man, one of these days, we talked about it a long time ago, but hopefully we'll get some Ghost of Tsushima over there. But you can use our Epic creator code, NerdCave, at checkout, and you can be what, Derek?
Epic.
You can be Epic, just like Brandon Hicks. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Now, Derek.
Yes.
Talking about Brandon. When you saw him.
I know. Yeah, I know. And he was definitely much taller than I anticipated him to be. Like, I've only seen him like a couple times, like in our Discord, like on camera, and I'm just like, okay, seems like very normal size. Then when we get out at Five Guys, I see this guy talking to Amy. I'm like, who is this? And then I hear his voice. I'm like, this is Brandon. Like, I'm looking up at him. Like, it's definitely not like Judah.
Judah was a lot. Like, he's a big boy.
Yeah, no. Like, I opened the door that one time when he came to your apartment. I'm just like, hello.
Yeah, you're like talking to his belly button.
I know. But Brandon's a very tall dude as well, so
hopefully, I think I figured out the whole breathing thing into the mic and all that good stuff. I got a new mic. We're testing it out. We're trying to see how you know how I am, Derek. I'm always about I get a new toy, I got to play with it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I got a new toy. But speaking of new, let's talk about the PlayStation news. First up, Final Fantasy XVI director reveals he didn't want it to be an open world title.
So when Hiroshi Takai, the director of Final Fantasy XVI, was asked in an interview with Dengeki Online about his vision for the project, he revealed that going open world did not match up with their narrative or pacing plans. In addition to this revelation, Sakai-san exposed how they were inspired by Final Fantasy V's job system when creating the battle system for their highly anticipated title set to launch on PS5 this summer. Quote, roughly speaking, I didn't want it to be an open world. I want it to be a game that pulls the player through the story, and I want it to be an action RPG that feels good, not an action style RPG. I was thinking I also wanted to raise the rating of Final Fantasy XIV, which until now was for players aged 15 and over. So it's interesting that he didn't want it to be a huge open world because we know since they've all to an extent had like an open world base, but it's always been that like, you move, you face an enemy, and then you do the turn-based stuff. So you really never got to explore, but like they really opened it up when 15 came out. 15, then 7 remake. They just kind of open it up and give you more to explore. So it's interesting that they wanted to kind of rail it in a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, they figured it's better for the game to do this.
Well, Hiroshi Takai, which is the director of this, he was also the director of Final Fantasy XIV when they rebooted it.
Right.
So like he's used to like that big open world, and it's like if you're wanting that, you go play Final Fantasy XIV, which they've done a killer job of. But what I've heard is that they really wanted this to feel like God of War. Like they
Right.
wanted it to be a very tailored down story to one specific character, which is Clive, which is a really bad name for a hero.
Yeah.
Clive. It's like it's not does not
As Deco would say, Clive, or what the opposite of what Deco would say, Clive is not the name of a hero.
yeah, it's not a good name, but it is interesting that we're getting just that, just Clive as a playable character.
Mm.
Like he does have like a companion, like a little dog or whatever. But that's really about it in this. So it's a very different game. I was watching Kind of Funny's preview on it that
Yeah.
they did today, and how it is very Devil May Cry, very fast paced kind of
Yeah.
combat and everything. So it's very different than what we've gotten in the past, even compared to 15, which was faster paced. 7 was
Right.
faster. Like they still have like the stagger system and all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff in this. But even taking out turn based, which is our next story. So apparently, Final Fantasy 16 designers discuss why the series hasn't been turn based for a while.
So I'm gonna try and condense this because they have like long excerpts from like three of the directors or whatnot. So I'm not gonna try. I'm not just gonna read the minutia. I'm trying gonna take and just read like the first couple experts to get to the excerpts to get to the point. But let me dive in here. Final Fantasy's recent entries have been far from their classic turn-based roots. The series has shifted to a more action-oriented combat system with each new game, and this trend is especially evident in Final Fantasy XVI, which stands out as the most dynamic and fast paced installment yet. After diving into its mechanics for around 2 hours recently, I was able to gain an insight into how deep the combat really runs. After exploring the game in depth, I had a discussion with Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida, director Hiroshi Takai, and combat director Ryota Suzuki regarding this ever increasing move towards action instead of turn based play. When posed with why Final Fantasy has shifted to an action style of gameplay, each director was able to provide an answer that explained their choice. From Yoshida, when creating Final Fantasy 16, you can't ignore the data that's been taken from the fan base from Final Fantasy 1 to 15. So again, creating a Final Fantasy 15, a numbered Final Fantasy, has become such an endeavor to the point where your development costs can go upwards of 100 million just to create one game. And go to recoup that development costs, you need as many players playing your game as possible. And while a lot of the older fans are used to what Final Fantasy had in the past, a lot of younger players have never played a Final Fantasy game. They grew up playing the first person shooters, they grew up playing games like Grand Theft Auto, where basically you press a button and something happens immediately. It's not a command based system. When you press the square, your guy shoots. Why do you have to wait for him to shoot? I should be able to press square and he shoots immediately. You have this whole generation of gamers that grew up with this, and you need to get those generations to come in and also play Final Fantasy 16, which has this image of not being that type of game. You have to make it appealing to that group as well. And so to get that group to come in and introduce them to the series was decided to go down this route. Action was pretty much the only way. From Takai, for me, it's the same as Yoshida that we want to get into this game we want to get this game in the hands of as many people as possible. But like Yoshida said, a lot of gamers in their 20s, even some in their early 30s, are so used to playing games where if you tilt the stick, someone moves. If you press the button, action happens. That is all immediate. It's all responsive and directly off of that action. And so trying to push that back and make players wait for everything didn't feel like the direction that games are moving in. And from Suzuki, because it's a decision that we believe we kind of had to make, because we know that there are players that will say that they might not play 16 because it's gone from turn-based to action. We have to look at that. On the other hand, that there's also probably a lot of players that are like, well, if it's turn-based, I'm not going to play this game at all. And so again, it's all about bringing that game to a lot more people. And with our action system that we are making it accessible, we think that we can get those players that are like, I don't know if I want to play this action game. Because of our accessibility, we think that it can be kind of a gateway for players that are not into action games to learn about how fun action games really are. And of course, I also like turn-based games as well, so we don't want people to think that the people that are creating this game all hate turn-based games. Let me see. And the last little excerpt here, Yoshida also pondered if a mainline Final Fantasy game will ever return to a turn-based combat. Quote, we don't know if our team is going to be doing Final Fantasy 17. I would say we're probably not going to be doing 17, but again, there's still that possibility out there because you never know. We might just go back to pixel graphics as well. If you go back to pixel graphics, that makes it easier to go back to something turn-based. So, based that's a lot. They
Yeah.
all kind of agree on the same thing. Whereas like turn-based works for some games, but
Mhm.
not but the way Final Fantasy has evolved over the last couple years, it doesn't work for that type of game
Yeah.
anymore, especially with how they've forwarded with graphics, with the engine, with the storytelling or whatnot. Turn-based just doesn't, like, I know in this remake of 7 part 1, at least the first part anyway, they give you that option to like pause the combat and still give
Mhm.
commands like you're doing turn-based, but you can still do the action-based combat as well.
Yeah.
So they all are kind of like they're not these people who have been around Final Fantasy for decades. They're not set in their ways like some developers still like to be. They're forward thinking. They're like, hey, we looked at the data. This is what works for combat wise. This doesn't. But we also know that there are some people who like turn based that might be turned off to our action combat. So we still want to offer something that appeals to those people as well.
Yeah, and you think about it, it's like most people play games and it's instant gratification if you push something,
Right.
and it's like that's the way things are. Yes, like I think of Dragon Age. Dragon Age started out where it was just turn based,
Yeah.
and then Dragon Age 2 gave you a little bit more of like in time and everything, and then
Yeah.
Inquisition was way more. You could still pause it and plan everything out. Which, when there's like a hairy situation, yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
It's like okay, I got to plan all this out or whatever. But it's like you want to feel like you're actually that character. You want to feel like you're actually, you know, fighting somebody instead of like
Yeah.
programming the game to fight and all of that. It's like
Yeah.
we've gotten past that. You know what I mean? It's like can Final Fantasy Tactics or Octopath Traveler, those type games still be around? Yes, but if you want this
Yeah.
game to be successful, it's not an MMO. It's
No.
not something that works in that kind of fashion. It's got to be different. It's like they are trying to make a God of War essentially
Yeah.
with this game, and it's like the reason why God of War is great is it's not just graphically amazing,
It's that storytelling.
it's that storytelling, but then you've got that satisfying gameplay when you throw that axe and you call it back and it boom, it hits your hand.
You
It's like
feel it.
you feel it. It's like, man, this feels great. Like everything
Yeah.
feels good. And it's like they're trying to get to that position. And Square Enix, like it's been hit or miss for a lot of their games.
Yeah,
And
especially for the Western side, you know?
yeah, and even Final Fantasy, like 15 didn't do as well as they thought.
No, they had
And
to cancel a bunch of DLC because of it.
we're gonna talk about it here in a minute. Forspoken didn't do too well either.
Nope, and there's a reason for that, but we'll get to that in a second.
So Derek, I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16. I
Mhm.
might even play it, Derek.
Yeah,
I've played a little bit of 7, and that's
yeah,
really about it. The remake.
yeah.
So I might jump into Final Fantasy 16. But you know what I need right now, Derek?
You need those quickies.
I need those PlayStation quickies. So take it away.
Starting off, Sony is now AMD's best customer thanks to stellar PS5 console sales. LeBron James signs on as a quote PlayStation playmaker, collaborates to co-design new PS5 accessories. DualSense Edge controller is no longer available exclusively at PlayStation Direct. Major retailers are now stocking the pad. PlayStation Showcase reportedly happening before E3 will set up next phase of the PS5. 10 Hearts PSVR 2 confirmed for a summer 2023 release. Baldur's Gate 3 supports split screen co op and cross save progression. The collector's edition for Baldur's Gate 3 will allow a 72-hour early access, and I'm sure there'll be like an ultimate edition digitally that will allow that as well. Um, uh, and this was interesting because we saw Baldur's Gate at the State of Play, but I didn't get this vibe that it was going to be a console exclusive. But in this, I saw an article saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is not a PS5 console exclusive, as Larian Studios can bring the game to other formats if it wants. So it seems like it'll be a timed exclusive or like it'll release first on PlayStation. But as for right now, it looks like PlayStation is its home. As we alluded to a moment ago, Forspoken studio Luminous Productions to merge with Square Enix on May 1st. Some more Final Fantasy news. Final Fantasy XIV director Naoki Yoshida says developing an MMO in Final Fantasy XVI isn't as different as you think. 16 net will have accessibility items instead of difficulty levels. 16's world has large maps but no optional dungeons. 16 has a group of Sony Interactive Entertainment engineers helping with optimization. 16 will feature an arcade mode with Devil May Cry style combat scores. A 16 demo confirmed for roughly 2 weeks ahead of launch, and progress will transfer to the full game. 16 team says, quote, we would still be in development right now if it wasn't for PS5 hardware. So that sounds like a little bit of scratch my back, I'll scratch yours from Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan's like, hey, we got the hardware for you to get you out of that development Hades. If you put it on our console first for a while. And they're like, bet, fam, we got you. 16 is probably getting a PC version, but not for a long time. Square Enix is confident that Final Fantasy XVI release date won't get delayed. The Last of Us multiplayer co-game director is, quote, working on doors for Naughty Dog's latest title. And lastly, we had a little bit of DICE awards going on this weekend, and our game of the century, God of War Ragnarok, takes home multiple awards at DICE, which I think I read it was like 7 or 8 awards at DICE they took home.
As it should.
Yes, as it should.
Just quick correction for myself.
Yeah.
Apparently, I got the wrong dude as the director of 14. It's Yoshida is the director of Final Fantasy 14, not who did I say?
I thought you said Yoshida.
No, I did Hiroshi.
Oh, Hiroshi Sakai.
Yeah, Takai.
Got you.
Yeah, so we got the correction in there. But yeah, Luminous production merging in. It is nice that like they're not just like killing it completely and getting rid of all those developers, but I'm pretty sure Luminous, they worked on at least part of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're right, actually.
So it's just like, it was like, all right, you had your chance, 2 chances, fool me once.
One mediocre and one a dud. I think it's time you come back.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, hopefully the transition will go well. Hopefully people won't lose their jobs. They'll be able to be pulled in there. I find it very interesting that SIE developers have been working with the Final Fantasy team.
Yeah.
That is very different than what Sony normally does here. So,
right.
They're
only helping themselves internally.
Yeah, so this is definitely something big. And Derek, I'm gonna call it right here. I've been saying it.
I was just about to say, I think we're on the same wavelength. This is the start. This is the seeds being planted of Sony buying Square Enix.
Yep, we've been saying this is gonna happen. This will eventually happen. If this does happen, the Microsoft deal will definitely happen then.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like. Otherwise, Microsoft could be petty, but like, well, we think that's bad for gaming because you're taking all our RPGs from us.
Yeah, but it's not Call of Duty.
I know, what I mean? Exactly.
But yeah, I think Square Enix is this is the first dip, the toe dip into the proverbial pool and everything. So only time will tell. And hey, good job, God of War people, and good job, Bear McCreary, crushing it in the music writing department, getting awards.
Hurdy-gurdy.
Got that hurdy-gurdy, y'all. Got that hurdy-gurdy. You know what's up next? Is the Patreon quick hits, and the Patreon quick hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go figure. It's crazy. Become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going to patreon.com/nerdcave. You get access to content. You get stuff that's early, Derek, like our God of War review that'll be up very soon. It's like God of War was been out since November. It's like,
I know.
It's like, yeah.
Well, we couldn't figure out a perfect time to record, so we're just like, hey, let's do it now. We're both I'm in the same place you are. Let's do it live.
Yeah, we did it as we were driving to Five Guys, burgers and fries to Derek to pay up his bet and everything.
I know.
It was a great conversation. I can't wait for everybody that has played it to watch it. Give us your thoughts as well. I really enjoyed that conversation, Derek. But you can go check all of that good stuff over on patreon.com/nerdcave. Become part of the ship, part of the crew, and become one of our wonderful patrons. It does help us out to be able to do things, be able to afford things for the Nerd Cave, all that good stuff. So go over, support us. And if you got no bucks to toss, you can hit that subscribe button here over on the YouTubes as well. But Derek, let's jump into these Patreon quick hits.
So to start off, Hogwarts Legacy TV show reportedly in the works at HBO Max. Dead Space 2 and 3 remake could happen as EA reportedly polls fans to gauge interest. Silent Hill F director is keen on hearing fans' thoughts on what the F stands for. Pokemon Sleep launches on July 21st. Pokemon Concierge is a stop-motion animation arriving soon on Netflix. Persona 6 has reportedly been delayed internally, and there's a 0 chance of it releasing this year. I'm assuming that's Japan release, because if Persona 6 was coming, they'd make a whole song and dance about it. So, but Persona 4 and 5 was launched first in Japan, then like a year-ish later in the States. So I'm assuming this is in Japan release. Rumor, Call of Duty 2024 could still arrive on last-gen consoles. New World switching to seasonal model, free and premium season pass has been announced. The Super Mario Brothers movie will now arrive in theaters 2 days early on April 5th. Metroid Prime Remastered physical copies through Amazon have been delayed to either late March or early April. Some purchasers have gotten different ones. Nintendo confirms it is, in fact, skipping E3 this year. EA DICE is setting up a new team to help on Ridgeline Games' Battlefield project. EA has reportedly laid off more than 200 Apex Legends Q&A testers. Boo hiss. Lies of P confirmed for an August release, with a physical version also planned. More trouble for Beyond Good and Evil 2 as studio head reportedly leaves Ubisoft. Just kill the game. Just if the studio head leaves, you're gonna probably almost start from square one again. Just kill the game. Shinji Mikami is leaving Tango Gameworks. The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC on March 7th. Forza Horizon 5 Rally Adventure expansion has been announced and will arrive on March 29th. Hi-Fi Rush, little surprise hit that came out, has hit 2 million players. Another rumor, Konami to unveil new Castlevania game and Metal Gear Solid 3 remake at E3 2023. IO Interactive announces a new online fantasy RPG is in the works. Adonis Creed, who will enter the ring in Fortnite today. Mortal Kombat 12 revealed during an earnings call and will launch this year. We saw this after we did the State of Play. No fanfare for this. Mortal Kombat's only a huge fighting game title, and you reveal it during an earnings call. What in the DC studios is this? Like you just not care about Mortal Kombat anymore? Elden Ring expansion Shadow of the Erd Tree officially in development. 2023 Olympics esports series to add Gran Turismo and Just Dance events. Telltale delays The Wolf Among Us 2 to 2024 as team moves to using Unreal Engine 5. Star Wars Jedi Survivor director wants to make the series a trilogy. Quest 3 reportedly twice as powerful and slightly pricier than Quest 2. New month means new Xbox games with gold. This month, you're getting Sudden Strike 4 Complete Edition for the entire month, and you get an extra. You get Truberbrook for the entire month as well. And you get Lamentum from March 16th to April 15th. Also, you get you have new PS Plus Essentials games for this month, and if you watch the State of Play, they already revealed them. But if you didn't, I'm about to tell you. For the PS5 and PS4, you get Battlefield 2042. For the PS4, you get Code Vein and Minecraft Dungeons. So, a lot of good stuff.
I just want Wolf Among Us 2 to come out.
I know. It's getting as bad as Skull and Bones at this point.
Like, I've been wanting The Wolf Among Us for so long.
Yeah.
Have you played the first one?
Yeah, I played the first one.
Man, that story
at the end is just like, I need answers, please.
Yes, I've been waiting. I've read the comics and everything.
Oh, I
it's
haven't read the
good.
comics yet.
It's good. It's just not the same. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They did some stuff specific for the game and everything. But you know, I can't wait for it, and I agree with you. Beyond Good and Evil just needs to die.
Yeah.
It's like it's already started over once, or well, as we know, it started over once.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's others that we
they
don't know
publicly
about.
shared anyway.
So yeah, that needs to.
Yeah.
Did-
If it was like an art director or a sound designer, I'd be like, okay, it is what it is. But the studio head, like, you gotta imagine whatever he's like. Most of the time, they play ball. They pretty much don't mess up the cart, before the horse. But a lot of the time, new people come in. They're like, I have a vision for this, and this is what you've done so far. It does not meet that vision. So we need to start from the top.
Yeah. So, and then Nintendo skipping E3, does that means like the actual like E3, like being in person and everything? I still think we get a direct
for
during
sure
that time and everything.
Or it comes to Summer Game Fest.
I don't know. Like they like their own thing, dude.
Yeah.
Like they might have something there, but they like to announce their own stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how streaming services, like we used to have like everything on one platform. Now everything's like splintered again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the good old days when everything was just on Netflix.
Now you get a streaming service. You get a streaming service.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we got one show. Can we do a streaming service? No, you can't.
Nope.
No, you can't. Well, there is the news, everybody. We hope that you enjoyed it. I know I definitely did. And if you are looking to support the Nerd Cave, you could do it in a plethora of ways. Hit the subscribe button right now. Boom. You did it for free. If you want to support us financially, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave and pick a tier that fits you the best. Sars Othra, the Secret Keeper. I enjoyed it.
Secret Keeper. I enjoyed it too.
It's good episode. Good episode. And tomorrow, for all of you beautiful people out there, Amy will be live at 12 p.m. Central Time every Friday, as long as we're here. Every Friday. It's going to be great. Come and be a part of that. But this is going to do it for Zach.
And Sars Othora, the Secret Keeper.
God bless week. Bye.